Am I the asshole for telling my sister I don't care when she gets married? I, 35 female, just celebrated my anniversary, and my sister, 38 female, Kayla, is still mad about a fight we had right before my wedding. I would love to know who's the asshole. Kayla was married at 23 and divorced at 30. She got a new boyfriend pretty much immediately after the papers were finalized, and they've been together ever since. Kayla always said the divorce was so hard, she would never marry again, and her boyfriend seemed fine with that. When my husband and I started talking about marriage, we told our families. Everyone gave their blessing, including my sister. I don't like surprises, so my husband revealed he was going to propose at my birthday party, which was near Valentine's Day. I told my 4 future bridesmaids, including my sister, in case they wanted to witness the proposal. A week before my party, Kayla surprised the family by announcing her boyfriend had proposed Christmas Day. We thought it was a little odd for a couple reasons. 1, she was so vocally against a second marriage. 2, she bought her own ring. But people change their minds all the time, and it doesn't matter who bought the ring if they're happy. We congratulated her and let it be. The oddness continued after my husband proposed, and we started planning our wedding. My sister hated all our choices, from our theme, autumn, to invitations, gold and cream, but especially my dress. I didn't wear pure white because I got married in my 30s, and it felt silly to do the blushing virgin shtick at my big age. According to Kayla, this was mortifying and shameful, which was weird considering she was pregnant with my nephew last showing when she walked down the aisle, and no one said a word. The real issue happened about a month before my wedding. Kayla called me out of nowhere and said, "Hey, would you care if I got married before you?" I said, "No, that's fine. You got engaged first after all. Go for it." Then Kayla said, "But what if we got married really close to your wedding day? Would that bother you?" I had a million people to call that day, including the caterers and the bakery, so I simply said, "Sis, I don't care when you get married. Go down to the courthouse an hour before the ceremony and get married on the exact same day if you like. Just be dressed and at the venue by 3 p.m., and I'll be the happiest bride ever." Kayla started screaming that it was so rude of me to say I don't care about her wedding. I said that's not what I meant, but she hung up on me and told the family her version. I still get shit from our aunts for something I didn't mean. Now, it's a year later, and my sister is threatening to not invite me to her wedding, which still hasn't happened. How can I handle my 18 female girlfriend only replying with one-word answers despite my efforts to fix things? I, 18 male, me and my girlfriend have been going through a rough patch lately. I made a mistake and hurt her feelings. I thought we were so happy, but one day she told me she feels very hurt that I haven't been intimate with her for the past month, unlike the other months. I apologized and told her that I'd changed things, but now she doesn't even talk to me and doesn't want me to touch her. During this bad week, I wrote her a letter, bought her flowers, apologized multiple times, and have been putting in effort, which I never stopped doing. The only thing I wasn't doing that month was the intimate stuff, to show her that I care and want to fix things between us. She told me she doesn't see how we could go back to normal, but she sees I'm trying, but the way she talks to me now is just so dry. Whenever I text her something kind or try to start a conversation, she just replies with, "Okay, good," or "IDK. I ask her how she feels, and she says, "I don't know," or "I feel nothing," or "I'm fine." It feels like I'm trying to reach her, but there's a wall I can't get through. Today I asked if she wanted to go to the movies with me. She loves horror, and she said, "Okay." That's it. No excitement, no emotion, nothing. I know she's still hurt, but it really hurts me too to feel like my effort doesn't move anything. I don't want to pressure her, but I also don't want to keep being the only one trying. I told her I'll keep putting in effort, but deep down, I'm tired of feeling like I'm talking to a wall. I understand she's very hurt, but this is nothing that we can't fix, and definitely not something our relationship should fall on. Update. I really thought things were over between us, but something happened. We were supposed to go to the cinema together, but our bus was late, and by the time we got there, we had already missed the first half hour of the movie. So instead of going in, I suggested we go for a walk. Honestly, that turned out to be a good thing. I took her to a quiet spot nearby and we sat on a bench. I told her I wanted to talk sincerely, and I read her what I had prepared, everything about how I felt, that I was trying, that I can't fix things alone, and that I just need honesty from her. Then I spoke from the heart, and we had a real conversation about how we both felt. After that, we were both hungry, so she actually suggested we go eat. We went to McDonald's, and the atmosphere got a lot lighter. We talked more. I even made her laugh a few times. When I walked her home, I thought that was it for the evening, but she was surprised and asked, "Aren't you coming in?" So I went. She gave me a small Lego set she had originally planned as a bonus gift for our anniversary. We built it together, then watched a Spider-Verse movie with her dad, and played a PC game with her brother. When it was time for me to leave, we hugged for about 10 minutes before I had to run for the bus, which I missed, but I didn't even care. So yeah, we're okay now. It's not perfect yet, but it finally feels like she opened up again. I lost all of my friends because of a stupid choice. It was a few weeks before my birthday party when my friend told me that they ended up with an STD. They were constantly saying that they wanted to end their life, to the point where I called the police just to make sure they were okay. At my birthday party, we all got drunk and took some magic mushrooms, and were all over the place. I ended up sitting on the floor of my bathroom, feeling the trip take over me, when one person from the friend group came in and saw me anxious. He came in and was like, "Come on, you can tell me." So I told him everything about the STD, about the suicide threats, everything. I instantly felt guilty and told him not to tell anybody because my friend with the STD didn't want anybody to know, and I promised them that I wouldn't say anything. A week later, he called me and told me that he told the friend with the STD. I went into a full-blown depressive episode and left the friend group chat, went to some train tracks and sat there and waited to get hit by a train. Some friends talked me into coming home, so I did. As the months went by little, all of these friends stopped talking to me until the final one, the one that had been my best friend for 2 years, delivered the final blow, letting me know that what I did put a bad taste in their mouth and they no longer wanted to be my friend. I thought these were the friends that would be my bridesmaids, my best friends, and they were an amazing group of people, and I lost every single one of them because of my stupid decision to not keep my mouth shut. I'm now starting over on Bumble BFF looking for friends and having some luck, but not great luck. I miss those friends. I've tried begging them for forgiveness, but they all just leave me on red. Nothing I can say or do will bring them back, and I have no one to blame but myself. Am I the asshole for not canceling my plans to attend my sister's wedding? I've heard multiple varying opinions from the people I know IRL, so I'm posting this here. For context, I have 3 siblings, and we are all in our 20s. Our oldest sister, Jane, recently announced her engagement to a man we all knew, but no one knew she was dating, and the only place she announced this was Facebook. She claimed she thought none of us would see and had asked our father to let us know of the engagement. Her and our mother and father live in the small town we all grew up in, less than 5 minutes away from each other. The rest of us live on the East and West Coast, respectively. For some reason, I, 26 female, ended up logging into my Facebook on a night I couldn't sleep after getting back from a trip and seeing Jane and Aaron's, 30 male, announcing their engagement. I called Jane the next day to congratulate her and let her know I was slightly confused, but still happy for her. Jane blew up at me after I expressed my confusion in a peaceful manner, and we haven't spoken since. I have spoken to our father multiple times since then and have been informed that this is just how she behaves and that I need to suck it up and show up, but I really don't care anymore, and neither do my other 2 siblings. The lack of communication has been loud, and I don't care to unravel the layers of disrespect that have been happening. The icing on the cake is that I have an important surgery planned for the week before that will take weeks of recovery that has been scheduled since the beginning of the year. I'm not willing to reschedule my plans for a last-minute chaotic wedding of 2 people that can't be bothered to communicate with anyone. I've let my family know I'll do my best to make it, but the plans I've made come first, especially after all the planning it took to take off that much time from work. Am I the asshole for not canceling my plans to make sure I can show up to this wedding, since multiple people have asked? 1. I was invited to the wedding. I got an invitation in the mail a week later, even though we hadn't spoken. 2. The surgery is for major vision issues that are keeping me from driving and causing major headaches that make it hard to go to work every day. 3. No one in our family knew she was dating Aaron, not even our parents. I, 22 female, asked my boyfriend, 22 male, about his future plans, and his answer hurt me. My boyfriend and I have been together since we were 16. I graduated this year while he's still studying. The other night, I casually asked him about his short-term goals. He said, "I want to upgrade my PC. I want to buy all the things I want." I asked if he had a timeline in mind, but he didn't really have one. Then I asked what he thinks our future would look like together. We've had this conversation a few times before, and every time his answer is that he's not the type to think about the future, that he prefers to just focus on the present. This time, he told me I shouldn't worry about the future and should just focus on developing the present. Then he added that I always plan for my future, but things never turn out the way I expected. That comment really hurt. I know we're still young, and I'm not expecting marriage or kids right now. I just wanted some reassurance that he still sees a near future with me, that we're still in this together and growing side by side. I don't want to sound controlling or overly serious, but I also don't want to pretend I'm okay with feeling uncertain. How can I talk to him about this without making him feel pressured, but still be honest about what I need? I'm staying with my girlfriend's family, and it's starting to feel a bit uncomfortable. I'm Korean, 32 male, and my girlfriend is British, 25 and female. We've been together for over a year. During this vacation, she invited me to come with her to the UK, and we've been staying at her parents' house for about 5 days now. We'll be here for 2 weeks in total. My girlfriend and I are on a similar financial level, but her parents insisted on covering all the costs while we're staying here. At first, I thought that was nice after all. When she was in Korea, I helped her a lot and bought many things for her place: dryer, induction stove, mattress, furniture, groceries, and did a lot of repairs myself. I also bought gifts for her family, and I've been trying to cook meals for them. But honestly, I'm starting to feel a bit burdened. I don't want to be depending on others for anything. On top of that, I feel uncomfortable traveling with my girlfriend's family. I find it hard to join in their conversations since I'm a bit introverted. Maybe it's also because I'm a typical Asian in a Western family setting. How should I adjust my mindset about this situation? This morning, I even imagined just leaving some cash behind to cover the expenses before heading out on the day we leave. Been in the roommate phase since COVID. I, 45 male, have been living with my girlfriend, 42 female, since October 2016. Things were never passionate, hot, and heavy between us, but on paper, she's everything I wanted in a woman. Sex was never as frequent as I would prefer, but she doesn't like to be touched, and with neither of us wanting children, it was a compromise I was willing to make. We made it together through COVID and various other relationship hurdles between then. But lately, like 2022, she appears to have decided that she just doesn't want to have sex anymore. She stopped talking to me, and any attempt to make conversation on my end, I'm terrible at making conversation, results in a one-word sentence: total shutdown towards me. Occasionally, when she has a difficult time falling asleep or staying asleep, she will get out of bed and sleep or try to sleep on the couch. In 2025, she's taken up permanent residence in the couch. It feels personal. I'm taking it personally. It feels less like a relationship now and more like she's moved into a separate room of the house. We don't talk anymore. If we do, it's not much more than a sentence or two. We don't touch anymore. It feels like the spark, the connection is gone. She talks to my cat more than she does with me. She interacts with the cat more than she does with me. I've asked her if she's depressed. She evaded the question with a "I don't know." I've asked her if we're okay. She still gives a vague IDK response. She's got a bit of a traumatic backstory, and I'm not sure if she has the emotional intelligence to know if she's depressed or to be able to know how I'm feeling. I am looking for advice on whether to stay or leave. I am looking for advice on how to escape the roommate phase. Am I the asshole for not going to my girlfriend's house to kill a cockroach? I'm not against killing cockroaches, but she rang me up at 10 p.m. when I was already showered and on my PJs. And she was crying, saying she had locked herself in her bathroom and couldn't leave because there was a cockroach in her bedroom. She had told me she is insanely scared and has a cockroach phobia, but I thought what she was asking me was totally unreasonable, so I told her there was no way I would be leaving my house and driving all the way there for something like this, then suggested she called her landlord. The guy lives in the building, which is something I think had not even occurred to her until I said so. Anyway, I called her back 10 minutes later. She said the landlord took care of it, but she was acting all cold, and I asked what was the matter, and she said I made it clear she can't count on me and that I bailed on her when she needed me. So I'm wondering if I could have been an asshole for either refusing to go there and for how I expressed my refusal. Am I the asshole for apparently being the reason my ex's engagement ended? I, 27 female, have a 6-year-old child with my ex. We have been broken up since our child was 1. I have primary custody. My ex sees our child 2 weekends a month. The reason for this is my ex decided he didn't want to give up his whole life to be a parent, and he thinks every other weekend is enough. I should also note he doesn't always take his weekends and has let our child down in the past. 3 years ago, he started dating someone else and they got engaged in February of this year. Once they were engaged, I started getting calls and texts from an unknown number, and I found out it was his fiancée. He had told her I would be open to her coming over and taking my child out for the day, and he gave her my number so we could plan this. He never mentioned it to me, and it took entirely too long for me to figure out what was going on. Getting a bunch of texts from an unknown number saying, "Answer the damn phone, call me, I'd like to meet up and figure this out," is not something I expected. When I did answer a call from her, she was set on taking my child out for the day, and she told me my ex said it was okay. I told her it was not okay, and I didn't know her, and I wasn't going to hand my child over to someone like that. Then I suggested she make the most of the time my ex has. This was not a popular answer with her, and she had my ex using our co-parenting app to send request after request for me to let his fiancé take our child out for the day. My ex told me in July that I was saying no too much and it was ruining his relationship. Last month, his fiancé ended their engagement and broke things off with him. She blamed me via text and said she was not going to stay in a hostile environment where she's treated like stranger danger toward the child she's supposed to be the stepmother of. My ex blamed me for this too. He accused me of sabotaging his relationship and chasing away potential stepmothers from our child's life. I told him I did not give a damn about his relationships. What I cared about is having someone I don't know feeling entitled to take my child from my home. Then I pointed out he was the reason she believed she could in the first place. Instead of just moving on and accepting what happened, he is telling everyone I broke them up. Some of his buddies are quick to say something when they see me. I think most people see it as BS because he's not a very involved father to begin with. I did have a mom friend in a mom group I'm a part of tell me I kinda did sabotage his relationship because the woman he was with was trying to know my kid and I didn't let her. She said I had no reason to say no like I did once. I knew who was texting and calling and what she wanted. This turned into a small fight because I asked her if she'd be okay with it and she told me she would. She said most single moms with primary or full custody would love for their kids to have people who want to take care of them. She said it was my ego that made me break them up because I didn't want my child to have a stepmom. I still think it's crazy to blame me, and I think it's also crazy to say I should have agreed to this, but I'm willing to be big enough to ask if I'm wrong and accept if people think I am wrong. So, do you think I broke up his relationship? Am I the asshole for saying no to her taking my kid for the day on my parenting time? I am so curious. Today I fucked up by forgetting my partner's birthday. My partner is great, and I got wrapped up in a bunch of work the morning of her birthday. I know I should have set a calendar reminder because I know I'm forgetful, but I didn't. And as a result, I sat there as she got ready in the morning, I drove her to work, and completely forgot to say happy birthday. We both don't do big celebrations for our birthdays. She didn't do anything exciting for my birthday, but she did say happy birthday as soon as she woke up, which I appreciated. But anyways, I didn't remember until about 12:30 that day, and then I texted her. I told her happy birthday and how much I appreciate her, but I can imagine that feels a little hollow if I didn't say anything until 12:30. And yes, she is still mad at me about it, which is totally fair. We do have a movie concert we're going to in a few days that we got tickets for as a birthday present to her. That should be fun. But she also has been feeling lately like no one listens to her, and she thinks I don't listen to her. I honestly try to listen as much as I can. I try to be mindful and present, but I get distracted sometimes, and she notices and takes it evidence that I don't listen to her or care about her. And today was just further confirmation for her that people don't care about her. I feel terrible. I apologized, but there's only so much an apology can do. Am I the asshole for telling my coworker that I'm not surprised his wife divorced him? I, 20 female, was recently told by my coworker, 40 male, that he and his wife, 37 female, were getting divorced. For context, they had just gotten married last year after dating his wife for 10 years. I've worked at this job since I was 16, and this co-worker has become my closest work friend, so I was first to know of the engagement and now of the divorce. We bonded over our shared love of video games. This is relevant, I swear. We both played a lot of games and would talk about the ones we love the most. In the time I've known him, he's loved Final Fantasy XIV, which is an online game you play with other people. He talked about this game and the people he would hang out with in the game constantly, talking about the hours he spends playing it every day. Shortly after he and his wife had gotten married, he started complaining about her and her neediness. When I asked about it, he would say she wanted him to spend time with her instead of playing video games. I had told him at the time that he should be making time for his wife, but he ignored me. Over the next year, he was constantly complaining about her and her neediness, and I would suggest taking some time off of his game to hang out with her, but my idea was always shut down. Eventually, I got fed up with him and asked him to stop bringing it up with me, and he did for about 2 months. That's when he told me about her asking for a divorce. I casually mentioned that I wasn't surprised that she was divorcing him, seeing as he loved Final Fantasy more than her. I didn't really think before I spoke and just said what I had been thinking every time he brought up his relationship problems. He was shocked at my response and seemed taken aback. I continued saying, all you ever talk about are video games and everything you ever told me about your wife was negative. He got very upset with me and complained about it to our other coworkers and our boss. We work in a kitchen with only about 10 staff members, so it wasn't too long before everybody knew about what I said. Our boss stayed out of it, not seeing my comment as bad enough to warrant any kind of action. Some of my coworkers around my age, who also frequently talked with this coworker, took my side while the older ones took his. It has divided the kitchen staff and has made it uncomfortable to work with some of my coworkers who think I'm in the wrong. So, am I the asshole for saying I wasn't surprised about my coworker's divorce? So, that's it for the video, and feel free to comment your opinion down below, and see you in the next one.